won't be fooled. We're breaking through, breaking through. Their propaganda we can see right through. We're waking up, ain't nothing they can do. They lied to you.
Have you ever pondered over the mysterious figure known as Dul-Qarnayn in the Quran? An enigmatic character, his tale is steeped in intrigue and mystery, stirring the curiosity of scholars and laymen alike for centuries. Dul-Qarnayn, a name that translates to the two-horned one, is a fascinating figure. His story is narrated in the 18th chapter of the Quran, known as Surah Al-Kahf, specifically verses 83 to 98. This narrative is not just a simple recounting of events, but rather, it's a tale that intertwines with the fabric of history and the ultimate proof of flat Earth. The story of Dul-Qarnayn is intriguing, but what's even more captivating is the enigma that surrounds his identity. Who was Dul-Qarnayn? Was he a powerful king, a prophet, or perhaps a saintly figure? Numerous theories have been proposed over the years, each offering a unique perspective on this enigmatic character. Some believe Dul-Qarnayn to be the Persian Emperor Cyrus the Great, while others suggest he could be Alexander the Great. But it was way before that, just after the giants were wiped out. God told us that he saved Prophet Hud and his followers, so we have a clue about his origins. And his story is based around those times after the giants. Brainless scholars. Theory carries its own set of arguments, but it's obvious that they don't want us to know the truth. However, the Quran does explicitly identify Dul-Qarnayn. If you read the verse without twisting it, like they always do, you will clearly understand that he was a giant, because only a giant will pour iron on top of big mountains. The tale surrounding Dul-Qarnayn's quest is important because God reveals to us that the earth is flat and they hiding it. Let's delve into the journey of Dul-Qarnayn, a tale that transcends time. Our tale begins with Dul-Qarnayn setting off on a westward journey as described in verses 85-86. Dul-Qarnayn, a figure of great strength and wisdom, God gave him strength, knowledge, and everything, and choose him and send him on a quest to help peoples. He embarked on a journey that would take him to the place where the sun sets, a place where few had dared to tread before. God said in verse 86-88, "Surely we established him in the land and gave him the means to all things." Until, when he reached the setting of the sun, he found it setting in a spring of dark mud, and he found near it a people. Allah said, "O Dul-Qarnayn, either you punish or else adopt among them goodness." He responded, "Whoever does wrong will be punished by us, then will be returned to their Lord, who will punish them with a horrible torment. As for those who believe and do good, they will have the finest reward, and we will assign them easy commands." Let's dive into this. As he ventured on his quest to help the world, he encountered a people like no other. They existed at the very edges of the world, as it was known, where the sun sets in a black spring. This verse is one of the proofs in the Quran that the earth is flat and that there is a hidden place on earth. You can see that the sun sets in a place God has made for the sun to go inside so that the night comes. And this people lived there, and they were clearly doing something wrong because of the warning he gave them. Yet Dul-Qarnayn approached these people not as a conqueror, but as a wise and just leader. He understood that power was not a tool for oppression, but an instrument of service. He recognized that the people needed guidance and support, not subjugation or control of their wicked leaders. So he treated them with fairness and compassion, providing them with the guidance they sought. He used his wisdom to help them navigate their challenges, to find solutions that were just and equitable, and rewarded the good doers. And the story continues in verse 89-91. Then he followed away until, when he came to the rising of the sun, he found it rising on a people for whom we had not made protection against it. Thus, and we had encompassed that he had in knowledge. Let's ponder on this. He made another quest to the other end of the world, and he found the rising of the sun, and he found white people living there, and that is the place white people originated. They were probably directed there by our first parents, Adam and Hawa, and they populated over there. And now God has sent them this giant to help them. That's a revelation by itself. If you look deeply, you will realize that this is Antarctica, and nobody is allowed to go there. This verse is also very specific geographically. The rising of the sun, let's decipher this verse. First, melanin is a protection against the sun. So God is very specific that he did not make protection against the sun for this people. is clear. God is talking about non-melanin skin. Have you noticed the giant did not warn or treat them? Instead, he helped them with everything he had in knowledge. It means that white people were amongst the first Muslims. They were worshiping God and were not wrongdoers. And we also discover that there is a place where the sun rises. From the western edge of the flat earth, Dhul-Qarnayn set his sights on the rising sun and embarked on his eastward expedition. His journey was not an easy one, fraught with trials and tribulations, yet he remained steadfast in his purpose. Through the vast deserts, over towering mountains, across roaring rivers he traveled, his resolve like the steady rise of the sun he was chasing. Upon reaching the rising place of the sun, he sees another hidden place where the sun rises. Dhul-Qarnayn encountered a people unlike any he had met before. They were created without melanin, exposed to the harsh rays of the sun, a sight that stirred compassion in his heart. Here, in the cradle of the dawn, he was not a conqueror or a king, but a beacon of empathy and kindness. Language was not a barrier for Dhul-Qarnayn. He reached out to these people not with the might of a ruler, but the gentleness of a humanitarian. He shared with them not only the knowledge and resources and wealth he had, but also the wisdom and kindness he possessed. He taught them to build shelters, to protect themselves from the relentless sun. He showed them how to harness the bounty of the earth to ensure their survival. Everything he had in knowledge, just like God said, and he probably gave them the first sunscreen. But most importantly, he gave them hope, a light in the darkness of their struggles. His compassion was not a mere act of charity, but a testament to his understanding of our shared humanity. Yet even as he brought solace to these people, Dhul-Qarnayn did not lose sight of his greater purpose. For he knew that his journey was not yet complete, that there were more lands to explore, more people to meet, more lessons to learn. His eastward journey was but one chapter of his epic tale, a testament to his indomitable spirit and compassionate heart. Yet Dhul-Qarnayn's most notable adventure was yet to come. Dhul-Qarnayn's story reaches its climax in verses 93 to 98, where he constructs an iron barrier. This is not just any barrier, it's a monumental fortification, a testament that he is a giant, and to his strength and resilience, built to protect a desperate people from the ravages of Gog and Magog. As the verses narrate, in verse 89 to 100, until, when he reached between two mountains, he found beside them a people who could hardly understand speech. They pleaded, "O Dhul-Qarnayn, surely Gog and Magog are spreading corruption throughout the land. Should we pay you tribute, provided that you build a wall between us and them?" He said, "That in which my Lord has established me is better, but assist me with strength. I will make between you and them a dam. Bring me blocks of iron." Then, when he had filled up the gap between the two mountains, he ordered, "Blow." When the iron became red hot, he said, "Bring me molten copper to pour over it." Dhul-Qarnayn encounters a tribe living in fear, their lives overshadowed by the threat of Gog and Magog. These are not just invaders. They are forces of chaos and destruction, laying waste to all that lies in their path. The tribe turns to Dhul-Qarnayn, their last hope, and pleads for his help. In response, he said what God has gave him is better than their rewards, but that he will help them regardless. Dhul-Qarnayn does not just offer sympathy or empty promises. He takes action. With an iron resolve matching the barrier he is about to construct, he sets to work. The verses describe an immense undertaking, requiring the heat of 1,000 fires and the strength of countless hands. They pour molten copper over the iron, creating a formidable barrier that Gog and Magog cannot penetrate. But the story doesn't end with the completion of the barrier. No, it culminates in Dhul-Qarnayn's humble recognition of a power greater than his own. Despite the awe-inspiring feat he has achieved, he does not revel in his accomplishment. Instead, he acknowledges the ultimate source of his ability. In verse 97-100, so Gog and Magog were unable to pass over it, nor were they able to do any penetration. He declared, "This is a mercy from my Lord, but when the promise of my Lord comes to pass, he will level it to the ground, and my Lord's promise is ever true. On that day, we will let them surge like waves over one another. Later, the trumpet will be blown, and we will gather all people together. On that day, we will display hell clearly for the disbelievers." Note that this verse is a prophecy that will happen before the end of the world. Dhul-Qarnayn knows that the barrier, as mighty as it may seem, will eventually crumble. It's not an everlasting solution, but a temporary respite granted by the divine. He states, "When the promise of my Lord comes to pass, he will make it into dust. And so, Dul-Qarnayn, the giant traveler, the builder of the barrier, teaches us a valuable lesson. That no matter our achievements, they are but fleeting moments in the grand canvas of time, and all power ultimately rests with the divine. This was the epic tale of Dul-Qarnayn, an enigmatic figure whose story is filled with lessons. His story highlights the importance of justice. He was a giant ruler, yet he treated everyone with fairness regardless of their social standing. He didn't let power cloud his judgment, showing us that true strength lies in maintaining justice, even in the face of adversity. Next, we learn about kindness. Dul-Qarnayn helped those in need without expecting anything in return. His actions instill in us the value of selflessness and compassion, qualities that make us not just better individuals, but also contribute to a better society. Humility is another virtue that Dul-Qarnayn embodied. Despite his power and influence, he never let arrogance seep into his heart. He recognized that all his abilities and achievements were blessings from God, teaching us the importance of staying grounded, even when we reach great heights. Lastly, Dul-Qarnayn's unwavering belief in God stands out. He acknowledged that true power belongs to God, and everything he did was in obedience to him. This faith guided his actions and decisions, reminding us of the significance of placing trust in the divine. The story of Dul-Qarnayn serves as a timeless reminder of these virtues. As we close this chapter, we're left with much to reflect upon. Join us next as we continue our quest of finding the true history of the world. Please, subscribe, like, and share. Thank you.